And we're back. You're now tuned into the Recap with the GoodFellaz podcast. We in here, 2021, bringing you that real talk, that real opinions, real conversation, and of course, real entertainment. It's your boy Tommy Guns alongside my man Big A. What up?
What is happening? I'm letting you know right now, 2021, I ain't playing no games with nobody, all right?
Oh,
I'm letting y'all all know what's up, all right?
Yo.
John Montana, what's good?
Nothing much, man. Just cooling.
All right. Heritage Hip Hop, Karev Yah, the fake corrupt media news has finally let him get his voice back. Holla at him real quick.
I don't know what to say. Shout out to Twisted T.
Yo.
Yo, Dab Noble, AEP Presents, what's good?
Yo, what's good? What's good? Yo, I'm sorry. That is hilarious. That has got to be one of the funniest, just out of nowhere memes that I've seen in a while. Yo, that Twisted T, I had no idea where it came from.
Yo.
When I finally figured it out and I saw it everywhere, every time I see it now, it just cracks me up. It's mad.
Yo, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm lost. Like, where did that come from? I've seen it and I'd be like, what?
There's a YouTube video where like the dude is just talking trash to this guy in the store, and he's just being just extra for no reason. And then but the dude has this Twisted Tea on the counter, and then the dude like gets in his face, and home just hits him over the head and busts the whole can.
Yeah.
Over his head. And, yo, it's just, and then of course in social media amazingness, it becomes the next big meme where it's everywhere. Everybody's got a can in their hand.
That's what's up. I just learned something new today, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in right now. Maybe you knew that, maybe you did, man. We're here to bring you all types of knowledge today. We are the GoodFellaz. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well as our individual Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitters, all that good stuff. Man, subscribe, like, share. If you got something you want to talk about, hit us with a comment. We'll definitely try to get on a future episode. But I feel like it's about that time. Football talk.
Oh, yeah.
Playoffs was crazy last weekend, man. Yo, we need to address what happened, what went down, and our predictions for this week. Dav Noble, man, let me holler at you first, man. Were you surprised, or let me change that. What were you surprised about the most with the playoff games from last weekend, and who won?
What I thought was going to be the biggest surprise, what I thought was going to be the surprise of the weekend wound up being the surprise, which is the Browns literally just embarrassing the Steelers. I figured that was gonna be my big upset, but actually no, that was my biggest upset. My biggest surprise, I did not think the Rams would pull that game out against Seattle, man. Like, you had Goff out there playing with a finger that he just had surgery on. Like, dude could barely throw the ball. They had the backup out there, and yet Seattle and them still couldn't get that
the
win.
Defense is trash, yo.
That defense, boy, Aaron Donald and them boys, like Stephen A. Smith, Aaron Donald and them boys.
Yeah.
So, I thought Lamar Jackson, shout out to him. I mean, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of him as a quarterback, but he's a hell of an athlete. It was a huge win for him to win for them to get that Titans game. And there's no way you can look at that game and say that team won that game on his back, even though he was running most of the time. But hey, listen, run, young man, run to get that payday. So that was a good win. And Washington, that was a surprise. I didn't expect that game to be as close as it was at all. Whoever they had, Heineken was out there balling. Like, he said, listen, this may be my only shot, but that's it. I'm going out there and I'm putting it all on tape. The funniest moment of the night, which wasn't supposed to be funny, but that dude, the Rams dude, that first quarterback they put in there, yo, he got hit. Hey, and he, hopefully he was okay because I know he got injured. But when you see his face, like they said, like he literally, I don't know if he had like a lot of snaps with the team, but yo, when you saw his face when they had him on he had that look like, yo, this ain't the AAF at all. Like, he's like, yo, he had that look like, yo, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yo, Twisted T?
Ow!
The look on his face was a dude who realized that his physical limitation for what his expectation of the NFL was not what it really was, yo. He was like, I'm not trying to get hit by these dudes anymore.
He had to reevaluate his whole career choice.
Pow!
Yo, you didn't see the look on his face, bro. He was just like, I haven't seen that look in a long time when you just get the whole love of the game taken out of you by one big hit,
yo. You know what's bad about that is the camera actually at that moment, it was like a rare moment where you can see inside the helmet. So like, you can clearly see
it was clear as day. You could see his eyes clear as day. Like, just wide, like, nah, this ain't what I expected. I ain't trying to get hit by these dudes no more. Like, take him to the locker room. They walked him into the locker room and you never heard his name again. They didn't even update him on the injury report. Like,
just put MIA. Like, yo, Big A. What did you think about the playoffs? Were you surprised by any of the games or any of the winners and losers?
First of all, I want to say the Browns and Steelers game was the quickest scoring game I've seen in the playoffs in all my life. The Browns scored in the first 14 seconds of the game. For the first 14 seconds of the game, you had the quarterback. You knew Big Ben Rafflesberger knew it was going to be a long day. And knew the turnover was going to be a long day when his center, who's been a Pro Bowl almost since he's been in the NFL, snapped the ball and he missed the ball the first 14 seconds of the game, went into the end zone, and the Browns scored the touchdown in 14 seconds. I was like, oh, it's going to be a long night. And when I constantly watched the Browns constantly score, they ran up the scoreboard 28-0. And we played Madden. I played Madden. And Dav, I know you played Madden. Sha, I know you played Madden. Karev, I know you play Madden. When they get 21-0, you already know it's lights out, baby. We call that a shutout. So it was lights out in the first quarter. It was 28-0. I was like, oh, I'm loving this. And I didn't think it was going to get any uglier. And I was like, you know what? Maybe the second quarter, Big Ben is going to come back and do what he does. He threw for 500 yards. Usually when he
wild out. Ben looked like he knew that may be his last game.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna let y'all know that it wasn't me. Because I threw this ball 64 times on a Tommy John arm.
Word.
I'm 100 years old. My belly is out. You know what I mean? Like, I got years of injuries tucked in these pads. Like, you went out there and threw 500 yards, bro. And it didn't even matter.
It didn't matter.
Almost 70 times, 500 yards. Like, he just basically said, listen, I may not win this game, but I just sealed my Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Y'all be in there when I'm done, because I'm about to be done. There's some beers that need drinking.
The only time I actually felt sad for Big Ben is actually at the end of the game where he was sitting there. Everybody else went on the field and they congratulated the other team. You know, it's sportsmanship. He sat there on the bench and he was crying, and it wasn't tears that they lost. It was like, damn, this is how I'm gonna end my career.
Yeah.
And the center sat next to him and refused to get up and sat next to him like a good teammate, and they sat there together. And it was just like, he was crying, but it wasn't like I lost. It wasn't like this hurt. It was more like, this is not how I want to end my career. And you could see it on his face that he knew like changes was gonna come. I don't know if they talked about it in the organization, and then the next day on Sports Center they talked about how he's gonna hurt their salary cap and they have to get rid of him, even though he's their icon there in Pittsburgh. The money talks and the BS walks. So the shocker for me, was the Browns, but the other shocker was the Washington team actually won a playoff game. They haven't won a playoff game in a long time. They came out, their defense came out with twisted tees, and they were smacking them over across the face.
What did they win? What are you talking about?
They didn't win.
They didn't win.
They didn't win. Maybe I had too many twists.
Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
I was hanging out with Karev. I had too many twisted tees.
You playing Madden.
That's alternative facts.
Word, word.
Oh,
Nah, they lost.
I was on last week. I'm sorry. They did lose. My bad. No. Seattle. That's the team. Seattle lost. I couldn't believe they lost to the Rams. They lost to the Rams, and it was a close game to the end. It was a close game to the end, actually to the fourth quarter, not to the end, to the fourth quarter. That's when things changed around for the Seattle Seahawks. But I have to say it was a good game. I couldn't believe that the Rams pulled it off, but they came out with their twisted tees because every time Wilson he snapped back. He had 3 or 4
tees, yo. Somebody's
twisted tees.
He had 3 or 4 defenders in his face. You go, oh, now that you can take back and look at the film. He had 3 or 4 defenders. That means his offensive line was not blocking for him. He was literally running for his life because they had twisted tees in their hand coming for his ass. Like,
bro,
literally,
one thing they have never been able to do is build this dude an offensive line. It's the hardest thing to do, and I think it's because they know he can escape. So he makes the line look so much better, but he
was running for his life.
Old and chunky, bro. Like, you can't keep expecting him to be able to run in the backfield. But did anybody watch that game, the Colts game with Dr. Doolittle playing quarterback because he was all them birds and ducks and chickens in the air with Phillip Rivers? His arm is done. It is. I was so surprised watching that ball come out of Phillip Rivers' hands, and it's so slow and it's wobbly, but it was getting to where it needed to go, and it seemed like nobody could play defense on it. But he was throwing some foul, some pigeons of the air. I'm like, he is done. If Ben is done, Phillip Rivers is done.
Yeah. Yo, Karev Yab, were you surprised by last week's games? Were you any of the scores? Did they surprise you? Did you have a feeling it was going to happen? How did you feel about the playoffs last weekend?
Oh, to be honest with you, I thought the Titans let me down.
That was your team. That was your pick.
That was
your dark horse pick.
The Titans let me down, and the Seahawks let me down. But I want to talk surprises. Chase Young is a beast, yo. Washington's defense is going to be good. If they get their act together, they're going to be what the Eagles were a couple years ago. They're going to be that team that's going to be undercover, sneaky good that you're always going to count out because you're so used to them being bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Another surprise. Shout out to the Jets because everybody they sent off their team went to the playoffs and all flopped. They had horrible games. Avery Williamson was horrible on the Steelers. Jamal Adams was shit horrible on the damn Seahawks. So I guess the Jets are going to be the come up team of next year because they got rid of all their dead weight with big contracts. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I think the one thing about the playoffs that surprised me was the Browns being so good in every other game except for Washington's defense being so boring. That's all I can say to you.
I was surprised. I was surprised how that game unfolded.
Yeah, this was like a whole. This playoff seemed like a year of Madden, because anything happened. You know what I'm saying? It was like you and your boys get together. Whoever have a good day, they win. That's exactly what it was. They say any given Sunday, anything can happen. This was any given Sunday this weekend. Salute to the NFL, yo.
Yeah, because early in the season, the Steelers were untouchable. Like, there was a point, cats were like, yo, they might go undefeated this year. Like, especially with their schedule towards the end of the year. Like, yo, all the Steelers fans was talking mad shit. And I was like, all right, we'll see what's up. You know what I mean? But, yo, for them to go out to the Browns, like, it's one thing if it was like the Packers, like an established team. You're like, all right, well, they earned that. But yo, the Browns out of nowhere, nobody. So I mean, yes, they're a good team, but very few people saw that coming. I sure as hell, I just assumed that the Steelers had that. I'm not even gonna front.
Sha, what you thinking, man?
All right, so let's take a look at these games. The Rams and Seahawks did not surprise me. I don't think the Seahawks are what they used to be. The Bills, I'm surprised that they didn't beat the Colts by more. Bucks and Washington, I'm actually surprised that the Bucks scored that many points and Washington scored. I would have thought that game would be a low-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Titans and Ravens, it was kind of a grudge match because if you remember last year, the Titans dethroned the Ravens.
Yeah.
That could have gone either way. I think they beat
Yeah.
The Bears not being able to put up more points the Saints not being able to put up more points on the Bears. I don't know. The Browns and Steelers, that was a shock.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna drop 50, bro.
And can I ask y'all a question real quick? I know we
Yes.
talked about fake news and everything, but how do you feel about the fans, the Browns fans, attacking Odell Beckham after they won and told him they don't want him on the team?
What?
So y'all didn't see that?
Attacking like
Yeah, Odell Beckham put out a tweet that said, "I wonder what the streets of Cleveland look at right now. This is crazy." And literally under his tweet, he had hundreds of people like, "What does it matter to you? We did better because you weren't on the field, and we need you out our city."
Because people are stupid because they were like 5-2 with Odell Beckham on the team. Like,
Wow.
and they would have been better with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's just fandom. People fandom is, as I said, people are bored, so it's hyper fandom.
Yeah.
I do want to say, did anyone else notice, and maybe it's just me because I'm photography dude, but that they added an extra camera, which was like
On the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, play level.
camera.
No, the focus camera. It's called the focus
Yeah,
camera.
like it was like right on the field. It was going in and out of the players.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
focus.
yeah.
So that was
They had-
fire.
That's the
like,
XFL camera.
That's the
yeah,
rock.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the rock. It's called rock focus. So they had the rock focus where it would only zoom in on the subject, and it would only everything would be blurred behind it. That was a crazy camera that they were doing on the field.
It was like that. The view where it added like it was every now and then, but it added so much for me to the game when I'm watching it because I'm like, yo, like almost felt like I was in the huddle. I was like, dang, because the NBA did something with the sideline cam.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for the people who had the VR. I think you could see that view and feel like you were on the sideline. So if this is something that stays with the NFL for the playoffs, and which they're probably trying it out, I would watch that. That's dope. That's definitely dope.
No, you know what that actually is a mimic of? It's actually a mimic of the Madden football game because the Madden football game does that in doing the touchdowns. The touchdowns will zoom in onto the player that did the touchdown, whatever they're doing is zoomed in, and for a couple of seconds, everything around them is like a blurred out, and then they go back to the regular camera shot. So that's exactly what they did. They mimicked the football game. They make it look like actually the game. It looks crazy out there.
Sidebar. Tommy, can I ask you a question?
What up?
If Drew Brees, Tom Brady, they lose the this year and they don't go to the Super Bowl and win, right?
Mm-hmm.
The media is hyping up a year where Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, we know Tom Brady ain't leaving because he got like extraterrestrial medicine he take to stay young, and Drew Brees. We have something where all four of potentially those quarterbacks could retire or be out the league. What do you think the face of football would be if we lost those four quarterbacks? And how would next season be exciting to you?
Good question.
Yeah, you dropping the questions. Well, right now, my man's on KC, I feel like is the face of football right now. He is, I mean, especially if KC wins the Super Bowl this year, like, without a doubt, he is the face of the game for a couple of years. You know what I mean? He's the best quarterback in the game. He's light skinned. He's got the white wife. He's like, I'm telling you, the check's already written out. You know what I'm saying?
He already got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he is probably the most, I think, and during playoff times, one of the most exciting players on that field. So I think this is very much a changing of the guard year. I mean, had my team, the 49ers, and Jimmy G done a little bit better, I would have been like, all right, cool, man. Like, he's another one of those, the change of the guard. Tom Brady's gone his way out. Jimmy G's here. Of course, he flopped and got injured. But, I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of the young quarterback, like Russell Wilson, if the Seahawks had gone further. Although he's like an OG, this would have been a perfect time for him to, yo, I'm here. Like, nah, man, I'm cementing my legacy. But he's out too. So, nah, man, I don't think the game's gonna miss him. I mean, Brady at this point is just kind of, he's here still on GP. He's got like another year. I don't know what his contract's like, but you know, it's the changing of the guard year now. But right now, they want like a lot of the young cats. So we'll see how Lamar Jackson does, if he can kind of rebound from I guess, like, because I feel like Lamar Jackson's problem was he flops during like a big game situation. So if he can correct that, you know what I mean, he's another one. Like, he's I feel like there's a nice trinity of young quarterbacks ready to take their place. So peace. I mean, come on. Like, these cats, like Dad said, these cats is like pushing, they pushing 40 plus, belly bigger than the muscles, you know what I'm saying? Like they ready for a beer and a nap. So,
or twisted tea.
Or twisted tea.
I like Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he's a new guy. I think he looks like Jim Kelly. Like, he looked like some old, it's like a throwback to the old school quarterback. Like, dude, he can run, he can throw, and this year he stepped it up with accuracy. So he's somebody who took, an elite step in 1 year. And, he's good. I think Mahomes, obviously, Watson, wherever he lands, Watson's still, he's still a top quarterback. I think he was there. I'm trying to think the other young, Joe Burrow was balling for, he got hurt. Yep. Justin Herbert. I think the AFC is about to be loaded, because even you're going to have Trevor Lawrence, who's going to step into an Urban Meyer system, and he's got mad weapons down there in Jacksonville to start with. So he's going to be slinging. Even if you figure Justin Fields, if he goes to the Jets, then he's going to be in the AFC. If he doesn't, he's going to end up either on the Panthers, probably, or the Falcons. You know what I mean? So then that'll bring him. You don't like, I see correct. You don't like Justin Fields?
No, I don't like any Ohio State quarterbacks. They all suck.
Wow.
Cardell Jones is trash. Todd Boykman was trash. Who was the one that came before Cardell Jones? Oh, Haskins, he's trash. What Ohio State quarterback came in the league and was cooking? Besides more than grits and chicken wings, because they all got fat and they suck. Who was good?
I never liked that argument, bro, because nobody was cooking at Tennessee before Peyton Manning, bro.
No. But Peyton Manning, the one thing that he had was an NFL pedigree. So that was going to get worked out.
Deshaun Watson at Clemson.
Who?
Deshaun Watson at Clemson.
What about Woody Dansler at Clemson? They have an NFL pedigree. He didn't stay as a quarterback, but they have a road to the NFL. That's not an issue. My issue is what Ohio State quarterback was good in the league. Troy Smith is the closest one you could come with.
But I'm saying is it's like was good in the league in general. I think what you call it will be good. I think but there are questions. Ohio State, Alabama quarterbacks always have questions.
Yo, they got a lot of no-name ones.
Well, for Ohio State?
Both of them. I said Ohio State and Alabama quarterbacks, they always seem to have a difficult transition to the NFL, but I think Justin Fields will do better because I think the offense they run is different than what Urban Meyer runs, which is going to be interesting.
Yo, I got a question for you guys, and kind of the same theme as Karev's question. Yo, if Aaron Rodgers does not get a Super Bowl ring this year, can we say, like I said, we're talking about the changing of the old guard. Like, is it now or never for Aaron Rodgers at this point? Like, how much more do you think he's got left in the tank?
But Rodgers can still play.
I say yes.
Yes. I say yes as far as with the Packers. He has an opportunity to go to another team to build up another team. But as far as on his legacy with the Packers, yes. Yeah. If he doesn't do it this year with the Packers, they're already literally they showed you with their draft pick. They're ready to move on. Move on. They showed you. They got the young quarterback in the helm the same way. Yeah, Jordan Love. They have him in the helm in the same way they got Rodgers. They got Rodgers when they were ready to get rid of Brett Favre. So like they're doing the same thing, the same easy transition. You have the elder quarterback, the more elite, the more home quarterback in that position to kind of show the young guy how to do it, to show the young guy how to be a leader. So that transition It's there. That's how they work their system. If you look, even before Brett Favre got there, the guy they had me do it before, he wasn't nowhere near Brett Favre, but they transitioned Brett Favre right in there. And when he got in there from leaving Atlanta, like it just transitioned that way. That's how they set up their organization. You go back and follow it.
Tommy, I don't agree. Shout out to Big A because he has vast football knowledge and salute. Mm-hmm. But I think Aaron Rodgers is getting set up to go to the 49ers. Because that's where he always wanted to go. That's where he always wanted to go. That's where he wanted to be drafted. The NFL, he didn't get there. He's from Southern California, and that's his dream team. So as an elder statesman, as you said, his team may try to get rid of him. We don't know. I'm just speculating. His team may try to get rid of him. I either see Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers or the damn 49ers in his career.
Dallas.
Wow.
No,
I don't think so.
Dallas, he's not going.
Oh no, because now McCarthy's there now. No.
Yeah,
I don't.
He's not going. They bumping heads. That would not work.
Had they not gotten McCarthy, I could have seen Aaron Rodgers in Dallas because Aaron Rodgers, if it wasn't for McCarthy, Jerry would pay him and he would step in there and they'd go to the Super Bowl because.
The only other team that'll make a wild trade or something like that is the Jets because they do it every year with a big name quarterback that flops out.
But he won't go to the Jets.
Nobody's going to the Jets. Wouldn't. I'm sorry.
I know he wouldn't. But I can see Aaron Rodgers finishing out his career on the 49ers because he's a Southern California kid, and that was his dream team. That was the whole story during the draft. And then who did they pick that year?
They picked Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. Yep.
So one guy went
to the Jets.
Yeah, so they picked the guy who basically flopped off the team and had an issue with upper management, and they could have drafted the one guy who wanted to be there. That's tough. Yeah.
What did Shaw say?
Said Brett Favre went to the Jets. Somebody said nobody went to the Jets.
Oh yeah, Favre went to the Jets.
But that was a different Jets.
No, that was different Brett Favre. That was different Brett Favre.
Yeah.
That wasn't the same elite Brett Favre. That wasn't the same elite Brett Favre that was out there throwing like bombs to his elite receivers. The Jets did not have elite receivers at that time when they traded for Favre to come over there. And it was literally Favre at the end of his career where he already wanted to retire. So they actually got him to stay in football one more year because you remember that controversy. He was like, "Nah, I'm gonna retire. Then I'm gonna come back. Now I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna come back." So he was indecisive. So they got him at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Now if they'd have got him at his elite prime career, then I would say I would agree with you, Sha. But nah, they got the man when he was ready to be out, yo.
Yo, real quick, we have a few minutes left. Predictions for this week. Who do we see advancing to the finals?
Does everybody take a game? I think, all right, so this week we got Rams-Packers. I think Packers are going to win that. No, Packers are going to win that because it's in Lambeau.
I agree.
I think the Bills will beat the Ravens, but it'll be close. I think the Saints beat the Bucks. That's my upset pick of the week. I think the Saints beat the Bucks in the Dome, and I think the Chiefs beat the Browns.
I actually agree with all those.
I like your picks, but I think the Bills might pull this one out over the Ravens. I know it sounds crazy.
That's what he said.
That's what he said, bro.
Listen, I'm the one with Twisted Tea. Y'all better chill out.
Twisted Tea better pay us some sponsorship money.
For real.
I think the Browns have an opportunity to make it a close game. I think they really I think that game could actually be a toss-up. I think their defense is good enough to cause a lot of disruption for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, just for the simple fact that if you watch the games, Patrick Mahomes had to play a good, solid secondary defense, and they got a solid secondary defense. And they got a good defensive line that they've always played close games. Even though they might have won, it's been very close games. So I think that game can actually be a toss-up, and that might be the biggest shocker of this week.
Huh.
Yeah. They win, it'll be because of Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah.
Karev, how you feel?
I agree with everything that Dash said, except for I have the Ravens beating the Bills because the Ravens have better corners than the Bills got.
Okay. Sean Montana.
Say Packers beat the brakes off the Rams. Bills, Ravens, toss up. I'm kind of giving it to the Ravens.
Okay.
the Chiefs beat the Browns, and the Bucks and Saints. I'd give it to the Bucks.
Really?
Yeah. I agree with
Okay.
Shaw. I think the Bucks. I think Tom Brady has like a demonic power that just allows him to do this thing.
It's playoff time.
Bro,
He
I
just
want
plays.
to take the Bucks. I do want to take them in this game, but if it's just something about the Saints in that dome.
Who's going to defend the MVP, Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill is the reason they're going to win.
Yo, that dome, the Saints are a
Taysom
different team in
Hill.
the dome.
Yeah.
They are outside of that dome, but
I
when they're
agree.
in that dome, they are a track team, and I'm like,
Yep.
I get it. Brady can, but that defense ain't bad either. That defense can get after Brady.
I feel like we're not looking at vintage GOAT Brady. I feel like he might make a couple more mistakes than he would previously, and that might be the difference. That's just how I feel. You know what I mean? But, yo, we are the GoodFellaz. This is the recap with the GoodFellaz podcast. We talking football. We gave our predictions. We want to hear what y'all think. Hit us up. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Like, share, comment. We want to hear what you think. You feel our picks? Are we talking crazy? Do you know something we don't know? We want to hear about it, man. Let us know, man. We're here for y'all to bring y'all the real stuff that y'all need to go about your day, to go about your week. And before we go, it's your boy Tommy Guns, my man Dav Noel, AEP Presents. Let them know where they can reach you at online.
Yo, hit me up on Facebook at the group A.E.P Presents First Thoughts. Facebook group A.E.P Presents First Thoughts. Pop culture group, come through. Check us out. You're going to love us. IG, hit me up, DAV_AEP.
That photography work, too.
Yeah, man.
Sean Montana.
Go.
Word. Sean Montana, we can't forget about you, man. Let them know where they can reach you out online.
You can reach me at GOTHYQ on Instagram.
Okay.
GoodFellaz TV on Instagram. And that's it, because I don't, Facebook is for family.
Okay, that's what's up. My man Big A, a.k.a. Twisted T. What's up, man? Where can they reach you at online?
Look, fool, I've been a fool. Anybody don't got Twisted T, get your ass whooped. What's going on, shit, man? Big A, yo. You like to have fun with my brothers here at the GoodFellaz. Check us out. First of all, GoodFellazTV.com, the best damn website next to HeritageHipHop.com, the best two websites on the internet, obviously. And you got to check me out on the net at ADYAR, that's AHDAYAR. I'm just animated on the net, as you see right now. I don't give a damn. You know me. You guys know me. If you don't know me, get to know me. Anyway, AHDAYAR, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Be careful on Twitter. And TikTok. Hey, this is what it is. Keeping it 100 with me. Tommy Guns, where can they find you at, my brother?
Yo, man, I'm in these internet streets, Instagram, Facebook, Tommy Brown or DJ Tommy Guns. Of course, GoodFellazTV.com. And my man Karev, speaking of Heritage Hip Hop, where can they reach you at? And let them know how dope the site is and what you got going on real quick.
Come see us at heritagehiphop.com. Go to storefrontier.com/Heritage Hip Hop for merch and $ Heritage Hip Hop Cash App. We bring your future favorite artists to you today. And thank you for watching the recap with the GoodFellaz. We make your life better.
Yeah. Yo, and special shout out to my man Sajin, Mayhem Media, graphics producer extraordinaire behind the boards doing his thing. Man, like I said, you need some graphic work, you need to holler at my mans real quick. But we are the GoodFellaz. Unfortunately, it's about that time. We got to pay some bills. We'll see you on the re-up next week.